We met on the mission, in the Alpine German speaking mission.
Exactly. We actually met in the airport.
Yeah, so I was just serving in my other mission, and then I was quarantined, and then I made it to my original assignment after 9 months. And so I had just been thrown all around for 9 months, and I finally made it, and I was an emotional wreck. And then he saw me, and I was like, oh no. And then that was where we first met. But apparently he followed me on Facebook before then, so he already knew that I was coming in.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, she is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. And of course I had good thoughts and everything, but we were planning transfers, and her little picture popped up on the where to put the missionaries, because we were talking to President about, which areas and stuff. And I was like, man, I really hope she comes to Munich. I really hope. And so we meet with President, and then we meet with him 2 days after that, and he's like, well, I'm going to bring Sister Chandler to Munich. And inside I was just like, yes! And yeah.
Then I was in Munich.
That's how we met.
Yeah. Saw him, and I was like, he's so cute.
And I saw her, and I'm like, she's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. And so, yeah, it's...
Mm-hmm. And then we served in the same city for 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months, yeah.
3 months. So, yeah.
So we got to kind of see each other throughout the week, because, I was in the office, and she was just serving not too far away, and they'd always make excuses to come to the office. And so, yeah, we got to see each other a little bit.
Yeah. That's how we would just, see each other casually, passing by. We would, do video calls with, our whole zone. And so, I'd be like, please see that Elder Pinniger would get on. Because I just, secretly hope I could see him.
We always had, fun little conversations in the office when they'd come by. And so we'd, chat about things. And I remember one funny experience where it was right when she got into the mission. She was running and just totally biffed it. Just ate it. Hit the cement. And I was like, oh, no.
In front of everyone. This is, I think, my second day in the mission.
Full office, all the
everyone
elders, all the sisters.
I'm, bright red. I'm mortified.
And so she trips, and then I go up and start talking to her, and we talk the rest of the 5K run, and we got to know each other a little bit there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I went home and I wrote in my journal, and I was like, today was the most embarrassing moment of my life. And I said the story, but then I'm like, it's okay because I got to run with our cute AP the rest of the time. So now it's just silly looking back.
Yeah.
To see what I said about it.
Her eyes, made the stars look like they're not shining. Her hair falls perfectly.
This is a fun
I'll
one.
start.
You can start.
So I leave the mission. You have little books that you write in, and it's bye books, but in German it's called Tschüss books, which just means buy books. And he writes this big long thing in mine.
The longest one I've ever written.
Okay, it has pictures and memories, and I just wrote him a little note. Okay, give it to him. It was sweet and nice. And he writes his email. He writes this big long thing, and instead of being Sister Chandler, I want to keep in contact with you, it's hey, add me to your group email or something, put his email at the bottom. And I was like, dang it. And the first week that he's home, the first P day, I wake up on my P day, and he's already home, and I open my phone, and there's an email from Isaac Pinniger, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, I wrote her an email, and then we wrote for
7 months?
7 months.
And so we would write every single week for 7 months.
For 7 months. And I remember actually she contacted me through Messenger, my first Monday home, her P day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I was just floored, super excited. My sister was living with us. I was like, Madeline, she wrote me back.
In between this time, he sent me packages. He sent me gifts and
Okay, it wasn't that bad.
notes.
You're making it sound like I was like
He just sent me
going overboard.
a couple of bracelets,
A couple
some
of bracelets and a
stickers,
cute little letter.
a letter, and I'm like more than overwhelmed because I'm a missionary. And like him and I weren't best friends, and so I was like freaking out, and so I like told my companion, I was like, you have to write him an email and tell him that like I can't do this anymore. Like I'm too stressed out. And I was like, we're going to different schools, it's gonna be different, blah blah blah. Wrote him off.
I was super sad. I was like, no, that's the worst. And I kind of felt it coming. It was super weird. And so I read that, and then I wrote an email right back. I was like, hey, sorry if I gave off the impression that we're like boyfriend and girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. Didn't mean to do that. And then I was like, just text me when you get home. So I just like ended it there. And then the next week, she wrote this big, long email saying, oh, like, my week was so good. She just, like, talked about everything.
I was like, didn't get that impression. No worries. And then I was like, anyway. And then we wrote again, and then we came home, and then he asked me out.
Yeah. She got home, went to her homecoming, was super nervous, was, like, the most scared I've ever been in my life. And then, I asked her out on a date that Sunday.
And then we went out on our first date, and we went to Park City.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was actually a really good first date.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100% agree.
Yeah, that was our first date. Didn't touch me at all. So I was like, is he interested in me? Like, he was like super standoffish, but he just was a respectful guy. And he just was like trying to be nice. I just got home, didn't want to overwhelm me, but I just was like, he is just not showing any signs that he's interested
And I was
in me.
like, but I was like so head over heels for her. I was like super scared to scare her away. Like I didn't want to like come off as like, I want you so bad. I mean, I did want you so bad, and I still want you so bad, but I just didn't want to like, put that impression there.
Yeah.
To scare you off.
Now I'm grateful.
Her lips, I could kiss them all day, yes, she let me. Her laugh, yes, she hates, but I think
Okay, this was a big one. It was a Sunday, and I invited her to my sister's house for like a little brunch, and then we had a fun little brunch. She played with the niece and nephews. Oh, do you remember what Sunny said? You should talk about that. About how.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
He, like, little kids just, like, say things that they hear. And so he was like, Isaac's nervous to kiss you. And he was like, Isaac's nervous that you're dating other boys in Logan, too.
Yeah.
Like that.
It was that. And then.
And I was, like, bright red. I was so embarrassed. And I was like.
And I think he even said, like, Isaac wants to marry you or something.
Yeah, he's like, when are you going to be my aunt?
Oh, yeah, when are you going to be my aunt? Yeah.
And then I'm, like, so embarrassed. And I'm like,
I don't know. And so we have a fun little time there. Then we go to her house for dinner. And then she had to go early because she had to drive back up to Logan. And so her dad was like, Alyssa, you need to get going. And so we walk out of the theater room, and my heart, because like that was the day I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kiss Alyssa.
Side note, I like thought he was gonna kiss me like a bunch of other times before this. So I was just like waiting. So I like didn't really think that he was going to kiss me this night because he hadn't the other nights when I totally thought he would have.
And so we walk outside, and my heart's just racing, so nervous. And my car's parked on the right side. There's another car parked on the left of me, and we like start standing there, and she kind of backs up against the other car. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of good because she's told me before. She's like, oh, I used to dodge guys all the time. Like they'd kiss me, and I'll just like move and like player girl, like but she's like up against this car, so I'm like, perfect, she has nowhere to go, and I'm leaning up against my car.
Trapped her.
We're probably like 3 or 4 feet away, and I just like keep on making conversation because I'm so nervous. I'm like, when am I gonna kiss her?
Now I know that when he gets nervous, he just like starts saying random things. So he's like, what'd you think of my sister? Or something like that. And I was like, I thought she was great. Like, I loved her.
And then I was like, oh, look over there. And she turned, and I went like this and like did the like.
And so then when I like looked back, it like went into my cheek, and I was like,
what are you doing? And it wasn't awkward. This sounds awkward, but it wasn't.
It wasn't that bad. Like right after that, I think you just like looked at me and like
And we
grabbed
both, like,
my face.
Yeah, I just grabbed her face and we kissed. And I felt like I had to lean over an ocean. And we kissed and then we pulled away and just we were smiling.
We were just like
so
both
big.
laughing.
Yeah, and then we kissed again and then pulled away. And then I was like, man, my heart is racing.
Yeah.
And then we kissed again and that was our first kiss.
It was actually good.
Yeah,
Most people have like a really bad first kiss, but I actually feel like it was a good one. Me,
for sure. Yeah, 100%.
he would say that I am. I'm more organized for sure.
Her room's messy, kind of.
He's always running all over the place. But he's like clean, but I'm a lot more organized, I would say.
But she also is pretty organized, but I'm more organized, yeah. Me.
Oh, he is 100%.
Yeah, I love to cook.
I don't really cook. I'm grateful for him because he'll cook me meals. Oh, me, 100.
She is.
If he said him,
She hates my driving. That's like one of her biggest pet peeves about me. He's like, Isaac, you suck at driving.
if you knew how many tickets that guy got.
I got pulled over like twice in the past like month and a half. We're driving to California in her car, and I get pulled over, and I'm like, this is so stupid. And that was like the maddest she's ever been at me. She might have sworn.
I am shocked. Shocked! Well, not that shocked.
It's me. I am the better driver.
She does not like my driving. I would say that's pretty even, actually.
Him.
We don't spend a lot of time. I wouldn't say we're like super like, how do I look right now?
I would say he does. But I feel like he would say that I did. But I think he does.
Sometimes I'll catch her checking herself out. I'm like, I would be too if I looked like you. Oh, I guess we like different movies. She loves like romantic drama stuff, and I love action.
I would probably say that one's pretty equal.
But we always watch romantic drama stuff, because that's just what she likes.
But he usually falls asleep in movies. So I don't really know if his opinion matters. Oh, me?
She does.
He is so silly. He'll go through phases and he'll listen to like the same 4 songs on repeat.
I listen to like the same song 5,000 times every day.
Right now he's going through, I'm about to expose him, a Demi Lovato stage.
And right now I'm into Demi Lovato. So like I'll just like listen to her songs on repeat like over and over again. So whenever she gets in the car, it's like that's what's playing.
So every time we get into his car, all we do is listen to Demi Lovato, the same songs. And I'm just like, all right, I've had enough of these. And so I'm just waiting for the next stage. He would say he does.
I do. She's kind of picky.
I'm being boozled.
Oh, there she goes. Look, she did. Oh, see, it's not even bad.
I'm a lot more picky than he is.
She is.
I think we're both pretty bad.
Yeah, she has a wonderful voice.
He has other talents.
She'll sing in the car sometimes. I'm like, Alyssa, dang, like, nice.
He totally said me because sometimes he thinks I'm a good singer. But I would say probably him just because I think I'm such a bad singer.
She can sing. She'll say she can't, but I disagree. She is. She's got moves. She's like all like groovy and stuff.
Maybe me.
This is how she'll like impersonate me and she'll be like, this is how you dance.
He just does like...
I'm just like a stiff board 2x4 that falls on the ground.
He is just a silly dancer.
Oh man, we're both stubborn.
I think me, probably. I don't really feel like I'm like a super stubborn person, But I don't know why, like, when it comes to Isaac, I, like, all of a sudden become, like, really stubborn.
She's really stubborn.
So, yeah, actually me. I'm probably more stubborn than he is.
Yeah, that's hard to say. I couldn't answer. I think we're both just super stubborn people. I will.
He actually loves spiders.
Yeah, I love to hold spiders. I actually had like black widows growing up. Like we'd keep them in jars and feed them, like crickets and stuff.
So I think he would enjoy that. I think I would catch him, smash him, and throw him in the toilet. I think he would catch him, put it in a jar, keep it, or like catch it and like let it outside, and because he didn't want to harm it.
I don't kill him. I'll hold him and take him outside. She'll like kill him if she has the guts to. I would say I am.
Oh, he is 100%. He like will do like backflips off things.
But she is adventurous as well. She loves to like watch TV shows.
Oh, he'll do like handstands on ledges of mountains, and I'm like, you're an idiot.
And I grew up with like no video games and just like always being outside, riding dirt bikes, building tree houses, being up in the mountains, you know, catching snakes and lizards and stuff. So like I love stuff like that.
Like, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like 10 feet from a ledge, and I'm like, ooh, like this is a little scary.
But she likes it too. I would say I love it more though.
Oh, he is.
Probably me.
I feel like he's always hurt himself, like kicking his shins,
This is not like a bad injury, but like I've like really hit my shin bone.
whacking his elbow on things.
And then the other day was like with like the car, like I shut the door and it like hit my like forearm and it got like super swollen.
Scratching his arms and like burning himself. And these are all things that I feel like have happened in like the past week. He's a lot more likely to get injured.
Yeah, I think me. I did.
He did.
I am like, have not to flatter myself, but I'm like emotional. I feel things like, you know, I have a big heart. I definitely got my mom's, you know, that side of her. And so we sit down on the couch and I like get emotional because she just means everything to me. And I say, hey, like, I love you so much.
I know exactly what he already said. He said that I said ditto.
And then she was like, ditto. She said ditto.
I love you, Molly.
Ditto.
Oh yeah. That was just a traumatic experience.
But I think I like kind of did, because I like told him, I was like, I have a lot of love for you. I think I just never told anyone I loved them, so I was like so nervous about it that I like couldn't say it, but like I was thinking it in my head, like I was like, I love him, I love him. So he said it first, and then I didn't say it for like.
And then the next 2 weeks was horrible because I would leave and say love you, and sometimes she would say it and sometimes she wouldn't. Whenever she wouldn't say it, I was just like, oh no.
I think I like said it occasionally, but I don't think I like started like actually like saying it for like a week or two after, I think.
And so I just kind of stopped saying it because I'm like, man, I don't want her to feel like pressured to say it if she's not ready for that. And so I kind of stopped, and then she like said it a few times to me. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Can I say Isaac? Is that cheesy?
I mean, I couldn't live without her. But I would say probably maybe like some kind of like food.
I can live without him, but it would just be the worst thing ever.
Oh, you know I never ask you to change. If perfect's what you're searching for, then just stay the same.
Our ring took a way long time to get because I'm very picky about what I wanted, how I wanted it, and basically it was like a really long process. We had to get the diamond shipped from Israel, and otherwise we would have to have, anyway, all these crazy things. So I was just like anxiously waiting for this ring for months now.
Yeah, and she wanted the biggest diamond, the shiniest diamond.
Stop it. No, I didn't. I just like wanted a specific shape. I just want a specific shape. And one day he's like, shows me a text that it's going to be longer than we thought. So we were planning a weekend up to go to Logan to go visit some of my friends ever since I moved back home. And so in my head, I'm like, I hope the ring comes before then because he'll propose to me in Logan because we have all these like special spots. And so then I'm like, okay, he's totally gonna propose to me in Logan. But he shows me this text that said it would come like the 21st or something. It was just a little bit later. And I start sobbing. I'm like so emotional. He's like, oh, like it's fine. I'm like, I know, I don't know. I just like want to be engaged so bad. So then we go to his nephew's wedding and apparently, while he's at the wedding, tell him what happened.
Yeah, so this is the 10th of March. They send me a text saying, hey, the ring will be ready tomorrow, the 11th. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And so the ring gets finished. Mm-hmm. The 11th comes, and I'm like, man, do I propose today or do I wait till Logan and do it up there at our like special spot? And I'm like, I got to do it today, the 11th. And so I pick up the ring. I figure everything out. I talk to my sisters about, setting some things up. At first, I was like, Alyssa, my sister needs help tonight at like 10:30. I'm
like, okay, we can help her. Like, no worries at all.
Yeah. So I talked to my sisters. They have everything planned to set the vases and the flowers up around this patio. And then she intertwined like lights between the vases, which looks super cool.
I fall asleep. Okay, and he does all these things. He, like, gives the ring to his mom. The mom cleans the ring. She hides it in the closet. He goes upstairs. He calls his sister. Like, does all these things while I'm sleeping. And he, like, wakes me up. And he's like, hey, come on, we got to go home, my sister. And I have kind of a bad attitude about it.
So it's the 11th of March. Her favorite number is 11. She always makes a wish on 11/11. So in my head, I'm like, okay, on 11/11, I'm going to propose when she makes a wish. And I'll be down on one knee. And so I tried to time it. We left at probably like 10:55, left to go to the park. She's super sleepy.
And we like pull up to the park and I'm like, I'm not getting out until your sister comes. Because it was like kind of cold outside. And he's like, no, come on. She wants to see if we have the stuff. And I'm like, okay. So we like get out of the car and he like tries to hold my hand. But I like put my hands in my pockets because my hands are cold. And so he is walking like 10 feet ahead.
I'm like nervous already.
He's like nervous and like speed walking. And I'm like, what's going on? I'm like walking 1 mile per hour because I'm like cold and tired. And I'm like, whatever, we'll like see it eventually. And we like come up across like this bridge. And there's like these like flowers and lights. And I see them and in my head I'm like, he's gonna propose. And I like get so excited and I like look around at all the things. But then I was like, no, he's not.
Yeah, because I just start talking about random stuff. I'm like, I used to bring my dog to this park. Yeah,
he's like saying all these like weird things. And I'm like, and he like seemed like he just was like stalling for his sister. And so I was like, well.
And I was like, let me check her location. So it looked really real. Like I was waiting for my sister. She wanted us to check if the stuff was still there. It was.
Yeah. And he's like, should I call her? And I was like, no, just be patient.
It was like probably like 10:08.
What, 11?
Oh yeah, 11:08, sorry. And that time went by really, really slow. And she actually like bent down and like flipped on the lights, which wasn't
like, flipping on the lights,
like around the flowers, and I'm like, oh, the plan,
seeing everything.
And so she like looks at all the flowers. These are so cute. Because I was just gonna turn on the lights when I got down on one knee at 11:11.
No, I'm already flipping the lights on, checking everything out.
And so we just leave them on, and then 11:11 comes around, and I was like, oh, make a wish. And so she always closes her eyes. She closes her eyes, then I get down on one knee. And I have it open, and then she opens her eyes, and I'm down on one knee with the ring out. And she's like, no, stop. She, like, backs up. She, like, can't believe it. She's like, Isaac, no, this is not real. I'm like, no, it is real. Like, and I'm, like, down on one knee for, like, 30 seconds, it feels like. And she's just saying, no. And I'm like, no, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I stand up, and I, like, pull out my phone flashlight and shine it on the ring, and it's, like, just like so sparkly.
And then we try to put it on and it like doesn't fit. And so it's like, and I'm like trying to like push it on, and then we like got it on and we were just laughing.
But it fits fine. It was just,
yeah. And the cool part is like, I'm like a huge believer in 11/11 wishes, as cheesy as that is. But I like closed my eyes and I was like, I wish I'll be engaged soon. And then I opened my eyes and he's down on one knee and I was like, dreams come true. Perfect. But then he would always, like, fake propose to me. And like it would like always. So then I thought like just like he was like kind of fake proposing again. But then I was like, no, like is this real? Like is this actually happening? And then it was. And then we got engaged.
We'll see your face. There's not a thing that I would change. 'Cause you're amazing. Just the